bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I'm shooting this video in Kenyatta Hospital. So I came here to discharge Sarah, but I was just coming. I just realized that President-elect William Samoei Ruto have had a phone conversation with the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta. And according to what William Ruto is saying in his Twitter page, is that himself he reached out to the president and they talked about the transition matters as envisaged in our constitution. In fact, Ruto is saying that they have not spoken, they had not spoken with the president quite for so long, even though we are not yet sure whether that is the truth, because sometimes politicians tell you what they want you to hear. That meeting is politically, or rather, that phone conversation can be politically significant. But I also want to mention that it's coming a day after the president made another visit to the ODM leader Raila Odinga in his current residence, and many have seen it as part of maneuvers by President Uhuru Kenyatta to make sure that the transition is cool and also just try to save face in terms of the legacy. Now, just before that, there is an image that has come out about the deformed face of Raila Odinga. And of course, it's been causing sparking reactions in the social media spaces. But one thing that we can categorically confirm is that Raila Odinga was involved in a mild accident while disembarking from the car, and I think he fell, and that's why the face is deformed. Even though there were reports that he was in Nairobi hospital for a bit of some dressing, but he is in a stable state. So that is why the face is deformed, and that's the photo that's been trending. Even though I also feel that the communication people around Raila ought to have made sure that the face is not seen, and that's why there is a photo that he took with the president where he was putting on the mask, and people wondering why was he putting on the mask while in the campaign trail he was not having the mask, or why because the issues of COVID were not yet active. I think it's because Raila was trying to cover that. Now, that was so, I think, unnecessary, because people now could understand that maybe he was depressed and it could be understood in different context. However, I wanted to just focus on the fact that there was a meeting, there was a phone conversation between William Ruto and President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I want to say, number one, what do you think are the contents of that conversation? I think the president is just informing the president-elect on the state of the situation, rather the state of the country. This will be interesting because when Ruto is planning to make his inauguration speech in Kasarani, he might make blunders and promise things that cannot be delivered, looking at the state of the economy. So Ruto will also want to just get an understanding of what is the state of affairs and what are some kind of things that are going on. I want to believe that the president also took that opportunity to congratulate the president-elect for that, because I think in social media for the last 2 days, President Uhuru Kenyatta came under sharp criticism by handlers of William Ruto, that even after when he made his speech in State House on Monday evening, after the Supreme Court verdict came out, he did not make it, he did not see it, the importance of congratulating William Ruto for that win. And of course, because he was the chairman of Azimio la Umoja, maybe he didn't just want that to come out clearly. So the president also, I also understand that maybe part of the pleasantries is to congratulate the president-elect William Samoei Ruto. I might also look at it this way, that the president is also now looking at just a smooth transition, and if there are talks of how the government is going to be run, maybe things that the president will want to be held, these are things that he will still try to look up for. So, guys, thank you for this. So, guys, I of course I'm shooting the car, and we're just here, and so we're just planning to see how we can get out. So the president might actually also congratulate his deputy on that, but I see also the possibility of maybe some of legacy projects of President Uhuru Kenyatta that have been key, that have come under sharp criticism, where the president was really criticized on the issue of Mombasa port that was moved to Naivasha. This has been it. There are some of capital intensive projects that the president was really criticized for having conducted. I think he can take that opportunity maybe to talk to William Samoei Ruto on in terms of some of these projects, whether there could be an element of continuity of these projects, because this is what also holds the legacy of the outgoing president Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, I also see that the president may not fail to address the plight of his orphans, and some of his orphans are people who sacrificed their political ambitions, especially the C.S. Matiang'i, the Karanja Kibichu. There are elements within President Uhuru Kenyatta's circle that feel that because they decampaigned William Ruto and they had a frosty relationship with the president-elect, maybe they can be victims of mistreatment, or maybe they can be fired. I think in this conversation, I see the president, or rather the president-elect William Ruto, also reaching out maybe to just exude confidence that he's not going to revisit some of the things, some of the ills that happened in the government, or by the president Uhuru Kenyatta's handlers. And that can be in the interest of what many have seen as victimization. Remember, the transition authority, the transition committee that where Matiang'i is a member, and there is also Philip Kameru, who is the NAS general. And NAS general actually resigned, and I've analyzed that here. There are elements, or there are people around President Uhuru Kenyatta Sako that might also feel really that they are going to be victimized. And so the president can take this opportunity to pitch for their survival. One other pitch, one last pitch that I can also speculate that the president can make, he can actually give William Ruto the brief, the state of the issues, so that as William Ruto sets his priorities, they can reverse it and say and tell the president and the president-elect that the priorities of the country at this moment are, or as of the things that are possible, it could be doing one or two aspects that really play out. And I also see this as this issue of pitching for the priorities is important, because when William Ruto was asked by journalists some of the few things that he's going to do for the first time he comes into office, he said that let's hold on. That is something that he will not address. So president might be so keen to look at that. Now, lastly, everything can be said and done, but the president, in the interest of also serving the interest of the other Kenyans, he might implore on William Ruto to revisit the judicial system, on not rather the judicial system, but rather the justice system, because there are also issues that were raised about eligibility of IEBC that can be looked at, and the interest under the BBI. Remember, William Ruto spoke passionately that he will not revisit any constitutional process, cannot be a priority. But I think the president can speak in the interest of some of the issues that were in the BBI. And because now they're not in government, it might not be very easy for them to revisit. So I'm not talking about survival of or revival of a BBI, but I'm talking about some of the issues that were envisaged in that judicial process. And that could be the one man, one shilling, one vote. I think President Uhuru Kenyatta can actually ask his deputy, who is now the incoming president, to look into how to actually bring people together. The unity pitch is equally important because, as I said, there are over 6 billion people who did not vote for president. So the legitimacy questions is good, but is there. And I think this call by President Uhuru Kenyatta also boosts the legitimacy threshold of deputy president, or rather of the president-elect. And I see the president can pitch that as you come into office, you might have a divided nation, and you should not underestimate the fact that there was a presence of peace in this transition. Does not mean that the legitimacy questions are not supposed to rise. So the president can reach out and also say that, look here, in the interest of this country and just to bring the country together, you need to look at how to bring the country together. And the best way to do that, according to me, is mainstreaming of the government projects, the projects that started over in Kisumu, in the areas of people who did not vote for the government of the day. I think there should be need for that mainstreaming. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I come to the end of this, I'm heading to the hospital just there to discharge Sarah, and of course, we're going to meet in our next analysis. But that is just a snippet of what exactly happened. And so, for those of us, we are going to catch up with Sarah and we share that video here.